Oh yes, I shall get started. So thank you all for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome, Canada. So thank you very much for joining me in my sewing room today. You can see I am not in the Janome Sewing and Learning Center. I will be coming to you live here from my sewing room in Collingwood, and then next week I'll be back to the Janome Sewing and Learning Center in Oakville. So yeah, oh, thank you so much. Yes, learning so much. Thank you for doing this for us. Oh, it's my pleasure. I absolutely love, again, sharing the Janome love, and there's so much out there, so many cool products, so many cool presser feet, so many fabulous features of our machines. So I love to get that information out there so you can all make the most of it. So yes, and again, thank you for keeping me company today. So that is great. Oh, sorry for blinding you with that light. I'll flip that around and we'll get started as we, present another Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown. Now, before I get into it, if you all want to hashtag share the Janome love, it's our new hashtag. Marianne, hello. So wherever you share your posts on social media of all the fabulous things that you create, all the wonderful projects with your Janome presser feet and your Janome machines, then you can hashtag share the Janome love, and that way we'll be able to see what you're coming up with as well. I love that everybody can share this way. But yes, in our Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown, can you believe we're already on number 12? We started a couple weeks ago in late July. Ooh, was it July 20th? I don't even remember. When we started at number 1, and then we're counting, all the way down to number 12. So yes, we are now at number 12. Now, Wednesday, coming up in 2 days, then the 26th of August, I'm going to be doing a recap and show you the little sample that I've been creating of all the awesome accessories that we have talked about. So I'll be doing a review if you've happened to miss any of these. So today, yes, number 12 is our fabulous HD roller foot and Tanya's fabulous drawings. As always, so adorable, the HD roller foot. So I'll go into the details about that. Now, if you've missed any of the previous Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown, you can go to the IGTV icon on the main page of the Janome Instagram, Janome HQ Instagram page. The little IGTV icon looks like a TV with antenna. So all the previous Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown lives are there, but also now I'm storing them on the Janome HQ YouTube channel. So I make little videos out of those live presentations. I add some, music at the beginning and the end and some titles. So all of those previously Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown lives are on the Janome HQ YouTube channel, as well as our previous series, A to Z with Janome. Yes, no thunderstorms on the review. I agree, Sandra. I was thinking the same thing for our previous series, A to Z with Janome, when we did this whole build-up to the review, and the day of the review episode, we in Collingwood had this massive thunderstorm come out of nowhere. The sky got so black, and all of a sudden we lost power. So I was able to continue doing the video, like to record it, but it wasn't live anymore. So hopefully for this coming review on Wednesday, there will be no thunderstorms. So fingers crossed. So yes, more information on the HD roller foot is available from our Janome Global site. So you type in Janome Global site in your browser, and on the left-hand side, it says Janome Bulletins. There's a tab, and you click on that, and here is a bulletin for the HD roller foot. It's a foot that came out a couple of years ago, and it is modeled after an industrial foot. When I studied fashion design years ago, 25 years ago that I graduated, believe it or not, this year, when I studied fashion design, we had a foot that looked very much like that in the industrial machines that we used. So I love that how a lot of the equipment, the presser feet, sergers, for example, all started in the garment industry, and then somebody later in their wisdom adopted those machines and those those feet to the home market. So now we can get those industrial-like features for many of our Janome machines at home. So there is more information on the HD roller foot on the bulletins from the Janome global site. It is available for high-speed straight stitch machines. So that's our 1600p, that's our HD9. Those are straight stitch only. They are indeed high speed. They're 1600 stitches per minute, so very high speed. So HD Rollerfoot will work with those machines, and it's for 9mm and 7mm high shank machines. So all your 8200, 8900, Skyline S9, 6700, the 6650 that I'm going to be demoing with today, the Memorycraft 15000, the Continental M7, all of those machines, then we can use this HD roller foot. Now it cannot be used, your 7mm machines like your 6600 and 7700 that have the built-in AccuFeed system, you're not able to use this foot with those models that have the built-in AccuFeed. But your other high shank 7mm machines, then yes, you can use this HD roller foot. So when in doubt, always consult your instruction manual and your fabulous Janome dealer. But again, more information on how to adjust your foot. So that's fabulous. Now in your bulletins, I always suggest, now it doesn't have to be a Janome binder, preferably it would be a red binder at least, but then you print out your bulletins, and then here I've got my big binder, and I have said Janome Bulletins, Education Resources. So all the little bits of information that you find online, there's so much information out there. So you print it out and you put it in page protectors and make yourself like this resource binder. So there's a bulletin about our AccuStitch, for example, and all the different bulletins that are on the site on the various machines. Again, this is one on our hat hoop, for example, for embroidery. This was the upgrade for the 9400. So again, all of that, you print it out, put it in your page protectors as a reference binder that you can review later. So that's always very helpful. Your HD roller foot, I'll move over here. HD roller foot comes in a blister pack, and then again it says for high speed straight stitch models, 9mm, 7mm high shank machines. Your blister pack here, your plastic part, you know, again, throw that away, but keep this reference card, because there's some, again, information on the back of the blister pack. And it even, again, says this foot cannot be used with models with integrated dual feed. So, again, that's your 6600, your 7700 that had the AccuFeed built into it. This foot you can't use with those, but other high shank 7mm and 9mm machines, yes, you can use those. So, again, more information. Ooh. Inside the blister pack here. So again, save this cardboard, put this in your page protector with your reference binder, and it shows you again how to adjust the foot. Absolutely everything, how to adjust on your foot pressure, depending on which kind of machine that you have. And yes, I've used this foot very often on my Memorycraft 15000. So don't think that you need a big heavy-duty machine like the M7 or the HD9 in order to use this foot. You can use this foot on the, again, 15000, 8200, 8900, Skyline S9. It works beautifully on those machines too. Hello, everyone. So the big thing is on how you adjust the foot. So I have the foot already here, and then I will take it off later to show you more close-up details of it. But here is the foot. Again, it looks very weird, but it's just like this big wheel, basically, to help you feed your thicker layers. Now, when you would want to use that, if I'm going to make this big piping, for example, this is probably at least like about a 1/2 of an inch big piece of piping. So I want to make this, let's say I'm covering, again, seat cushions for my patio furniture, or how about for your boat, or you're making a barbecue cover or something like that, and you want to add some piping. So I've just wrapped my vinyl. This is that, knit-backed vinyl, and then easily just fed that through. And it's up to you. Sometimes some narrower bits of fabric are a little harder to control. So I find a lot of times I like to cut my piece of fabric bigger than I need, folded it over my piping, stitched my seam, and then I can go back and trim it later. So then you can, again, it's just a little easier to maneuver, that it's not such a skinny, small piece of fabric. So that's, just a little tip there, if it works better for you. But yeah, so here's my beautiful piping. And then when I'm going to insert it in between two layers, again, that could be like my seat cushion. And the piping just adds such a nice, finished designer detail. And again, this could be maybe in your boat, or again, a barbecue cover or something like that. Now, when you're working with vinyl or any leathers, some of that sticky rainwear that's very slick, that's really when you would like to use this HD roller foot. Any thicker layers, certainly if you're making your tote bags, or again, any dense fabric like leather or this vinyl. When you're working with that kind of fabric, it's hard to pin in, and the pins will, in some cases, leave holes as well. So I love using these little clips, readily available. And the big secret when you're going to use this foot, and I'll show you more specifically when I take this foot off, but the big secret to this foot is you want to line up this wheel that will rotate with your feed dogs. It's very important. It'll use your left set of feed dogs. It's very important that this foot lines up with those feed dogs. I find when people are struggling using this for the first time, they haven't adjusted it properly. There are two little screw holes right here. Then again, when I take this foot off, I'll show you the little screws, but here are the backs of the screws. But this whole plate here will move side to side, so you can adjust where this foot lines up with your feed dogs, and then also the needle drop. You want this wheel close to your needle. But on many of our machines, this is the fabulous 6650. I love this red faceplate. With many of our machines, we can adjust the needle drop. So normally here it is 4.5 is the center needle position there in brackets. But again, I can move the needle over closer to the left, closer to that wheel. So I've just adjusted it to 1.5, and that worked out well. So again, you always want to experiment. When you're sewing your thicker layers like leather, or again even fabric, but thicker layers, maybe you've got some fusible fleece and fusible interfacing in your tote bags, so you've got thicker layers. Generally, I will always lengthen my stitch. Normally, again, it would be like 2.5, 2.4, something like that. Again, 2.4 in brackets, then I know that's center, or that's the default stitch length. But when I do my thicker layers, I'm going to increase it at least to a 3. That's what I do my typical top stitching, edge stitching. But then with, again, thicker layers, more dense layers, I'm going to turn it up to a 3.5. Sometimes I turn it up even up to a 4.0. And don't get hung up with the actual number and to think, ooh, like a 4, that's getting into basting territory, a very long stitch. But again, don't be concerned with that, because by the time you go through all these thick layers, that stitch length really doesn't look so long. So I'm just going to put this back to my previous line of stitching here. And then I love here on the 6650, and the same with the 6700, we've got this extra high presser foot lift that stays in place, that holds in place, which I absolutely love, because then as you're feeding in these thicker layers, it's great to have that presser foot up really high, out of the way, stays there on its own. But then you want to be sure that you drop that down. And then I just hold on to my threads and go nice and slow to begin with. And it's so easy, and I'll sew even slower, so then I hope you'll be able to see the rotation of that wheel of that foot. And it's very aptly named as a roller foot, and it literally just rolls along. So this is in place of your walking foot. So if you have, on many of our machines, you know, we have the AccuFeed system, which I always say is like a walking foot on steroids. But machines like this 6650, it does not have the AccuFeed. It's one of the big differences from the 6700. 6700 has AccuFeed, but 6650 does not. And it does not have a walking foot or even feed foot included with the machine. So you may then purchase one separately, and then you may also then purchase the HD roller foot if you're going to be doing some really, again, thicker, heavier layers. Because I'm using a thicker weight in my needle as well, which typically you'd use for like upholstery, I am not going to use my thread cutter. We do have the built-in thread cutter, but again, with thicker threads, I don't like using it because then I don't want this to potentially wrap around that thread cutter or, you know, dull it. So this is probably maybe a 30 weight thread, so it's getting thicker than the typical, you know, like 50 weight quilting cotton I would use. So again, there's my beautiful seam. Again, I can always adjust my needle to be closer to that seam, so then I don't see any of my previous line of stitching that, you know, made the piping. But again, that's beautiful. And then now I'm going to do my little bit of top stitching here. And again, I've got this at a 3.5, maybe I'll go up to a 4.0. And you will see that it really is not that long because of this thicker layer. Now I hope again you can see that wheel move. It's really cool. And it's just so simple. And again, you let the foot do the work. And how beautifully that it literally just glides. It's like sort of a hot knife through butter. So I think that really works well. And then again, there's my beautiful stitching. And again, can you believe that's at a 4.0? Like, that really does not look like a long stitch at all. But again, it's because that thicker layers, we're going through the 2 layers of vinyl here that made up the piping. And then I folded back a seam allowance. So there's 1 more layer. Then here's the top layer. So there's ultimately 4 layers that have gone through. So again, by the time you get through all those thick layers, then that's what reduces that stitch length. So that's why it's nice to make it a little longer. But yes, that looks very beautiful. So then here I've gone through 4 layers, and look how beautiful that looks. Now, a nice sharp needle helps too, and I think I need to change my needle. What I have been using are these purple tip Janome purple tip needles. They're a size 14. They have this flared cobra head, so that really helped go through those more dense layers of the vinyl. So there is through 4 layers of vinyl, so that looked beautiful. Or again, this I did with my Continental M7, 7 layers of vinyl. But again, it looked out beautifully. I hope you can see I used white thread in the bobbin, but there is my 7 layers, again, stitched through beautifully. And again, a nice sharp needle will help. So I recommend definitely, because especially vinyls and leathers. Now, ideally too, I would use try a denim needle, a size 16, or even an 18, size 18 leather needle to try as well. I didn't have any denim needles or leather needles here at home. I left them at the office. So again, I've been trying with the 14 Cobra head purple tip needle to see what would work. But yeah, that looks very beautiful too. So again, nice thicker layers. And then these shaving bags, for example, all out of vinyl, I think would be a great project to make. Again, thicker. It's the vinyl has that kind of fleecy backing to it, and then here the bag is all lined with the zipper. So this would be a good project to do with your HD roller foot. Now, if you don't happen to have any the HD roller foot, if you're not able to use it for your machine, then we also have some other alternatives. Janome has this rotary even foot set, which I thought was so cool. You can tell by the somewhat vintage packaging that it's been around for quite some time, but I thought it is very cool. And again, full instructions on the packaging, and as well there's instructions inside, but it comes with this whole little box of all these various attachments, which are very cool to let you do hemming and attaching like bias tape. And then this is the actual foot. It is so cool. It looks like a little bulldozer. It looks so adorable. That do you see those feet? There's like a roller here at the front and a roller here at the back, and then these tracks that actually move the foot. So this is what is feeding those layers more evenly. So this would be great for, again, like matching plaids and velvets, or how about using like knit fabric if you're trying to sew knit fabric and it is, yes, Tanya, it does look like a tank, yes. If you're sewing like knit fabrics, and again, they're stretchy and they're moving all over the place, or what about delicate fabrics, you know, like chiffon and such, where again, they just, you look at them and they move all over the place, that this rotary even foot would be a good, yes, non-aggressive. It is it's definitely a very non-aggressive way to feed your fabric without damaging it. But I thought that would be so cool. So your foot holder attaches here. This is a snap-on foot. So that is available for 7mm and 5mm machines. And then what makes it very cool is this, for example. Oh, doesn't that look like the tape guide that I demoed in the previous series, A to Z with Janome? It was the T episode, or specifically the tape guide foot is the TG foot. And I demoed how to use that. So you could go back to the Janome HQ YouTube channel to review how to use the tape guide foot. But this basically, there's a little screw that would attach here to attach that foot. So here is how you could apply bias tape, for example, or it doesn't have to be bias, but tape of any kind to like bind the edges of your fabric. Or then here is another guide. There's various widths of these. This is a rolled hem foot. Now, in the previous series, A to Z with Janome, the D episode was the rolled hem foot. And D is our Janome rolled hem foot. But here in the rotary even foot set, there are various sizes of these rolled hem guides. So you could attach them here to your little rotary even feed foot, and then you can do various widths of rolled hems. So how cool is that? I think that's so adorable. And again, comes with that little kit of the various sizes. So very cool there. And more information on this foot as well is on the Janome accessory guide. If you go to our Janome Canada website, for example, there's a bilingual accessory guide there, and it lists the rotary even feed foot set there. Now, when I think about, oh, what does rotary mean? Remember a rotary dial phone. Typically they were, flat down on the phone, although some of the phones hung up on the wall. But the rotary dial, it's specifically, rotary is thinking of your bobbin area, and it's spinning around, or it's actually spinning around this way. So yeah, so that's rotary. Whereas this foot is the roller foot, and it's oscillating hook. And the oscillating hook is the front loaders, as I call them. So if it's a 5mm machine, like your HD 1000, HD 3000 that are front load, and they've got the little trap door that opens, and then there is the hook, and they often have a separate bobbin case for your bobbin. So that's an oscillating hook that it's vertical. But this roller foot is another alternative. Comes in a blister pack here, again for 7mm and 5mm machines. There is a Rotary model for, again, drop-in bobbin, or then the oscillating one for the vertical bobbin, which is what this is. And this also, again, looks like a little bulldozer. There's little metal feet. It's a metal roller in the front, and then there's two little metal rollers in the back here that help this foot feed along your, again, velvets or matching plaids, or again any of your rain slicker fabric that's really sticky, or again knit fabric that's stretching. And so you may use this roller foot that's available for, again, 7mm or 5mm machines. So there is a roller foot for many machines if yours won't accommodate this HD roller foot. This is our last video of this series, and then on Wednesday, August 26th, I'm going to be doing a review, a recap of all of the 12 awesome accessories, and then I'll give you a little heads up about our new series that will be coming up after that. The Education Center, we still haven't been given the word of when we're going to open up. That's on hold for right now, but very soon we anticipate that will likely be happening. But, you know, in the meanwhile, while you're all waiting, you can write me classes at Janome-Canada.com, and I can put you on our mailing list. Here we go. So you can write me classes at Janome-Canada.com, and I'll put you on the mailing list, and then that way when we do get the heads up of when the Sewing and Learning Center will open, then you'll be on that list, and when I'll be doing classes in person. I am developing some online classes as well, so those will be debuting very soon. And again, I will certainly spread the word on the Janome HQ Instagram and Janome HQ Facebook page of when that will be happening. But yes, another couple of things I wanted to mention. When you're going to be doing your 2 layers, let's say, oh, this could be your leather, or this is my 2 layers. Oh, thank you for writing that, Tanya. Thank you. The email address there about the classes. This is 2 layers of my vinyl, and to help affix them together as I'm sewing them, I love using the Artistic Tack spray. A little goes a long way. There are some other products like the 2-sided sticky tape and things like that. Again, is a good alternative to use as opposed to pins. But the Artistic Tack spray I really like because a little goes a long way. And again, low VOC, so I don't have to worry about running out of my house and opening every window. So as I have my 2 layers fixed together here, then to go around a curve is another good reason to use this HD roller foot. It really makes going around curves very easy. And I'll just get started here. And when I'm going around a curve, I like to kind of anchor my hand kind of over here at the side, and then that's acting like as a fulcrum. So then I'm helping it to just twist around, but holding it in place. So I find it goes along easier. Now there is a big extension table available for the 6650 as well. So you can check with your Janome dealer. That would certainly help. Or again, if you can recess your machine in a table, we have many tables available as well that you could recess it down in so it's nice and flat. So again, there's my nice curve shape. So easy to go around. Looks very beautiful. And again, on the back side, looks very beautiful as well. Now, depending on the thickness of your layers too, you may need to adjust your foot pressure up here on the 6650. I have a dial here. So normally the foot is down at a 3. But then again, if we've got thicker layers, you might loosen it, so you're going to lessen the pressure on the foot. So in this case, I'd move it up to about maybe a 2.5 or a 2. And this is where, again, you'll definitely experiment and see what works best for you. I've got it about a 2.5, and again, that worked beautifully. So again, that stitched really, really nice. Now as well, if you're sewing around a curve and, oh, it's not quite right where you want it to be, sew your line of stitching, and then you come back around with your scissors and you trim close to your stitching so it looks like, you know, you've got perfect edge stitching. So this way, by trimming that seam allowance, maybe again a little easier for you to stitch not so close to the edge, and then you come around and you trim closer. So again, that makes it more accurate. So how beautiful is that? Now I also wanted to share the little tip of when you're folding over your layers. If I had my vinyl here and I'm going to fold over a hem, let's say like on a pocket, I'm going to top stitch this pocket down to my tote bag like this. And again, oh, I've got all these layers here. I've got 4 layers ultimately. So that's a lot of thickness. So what you can do is, this would be my corner, would be right here. I'm going to trim off my corner at a 45-degree angle. So then when I fold in my layers, you see how they just kiss together. They just butt together like that, and that completely eliminates that extra bulk in the corner. So when I turn this around, I've got a nice sharp corner, and then I can do my top stitching, and then I can do my edge stitching there at the side and affix this down to my tote bag, you know. So that is very helpful. Or, and again, use your clips to hold it into place. Or on this side, I've completely taken out that corner, cut it off at, 90 degrees. So then when I fold over this edge and fold over this edge, now I've got 3 layers as opposed to 4. So that just makes it a little, again, less bulky. And then again, I could just do my edge stitching down the side. And again, what a nice sharp corner that is. Now, if you're concerned about, oh, this side doesn't look so great because, again, I can see a little bit of that vinyl backing. A trick we used to use in school when we were sewing leather, especially, just take a Sharpie that matches. This does not match, but it's just to give you the idea. You can go along the edge of that. This would be, again, we used it with leather hides, like real leather hides. When you cut that edge, then again, it may show. So then you use your colored marking, a permanent marker of some kind, and then again, you color that in. So then it doesn't show as much as that white fleecy backing. So that's a little tip as well. So use your permanent markers to disguise. There's all sorts of little tricks that you can do. But I wanted to show you this foot then when I remove it here. There's a little button, conveniently, which I'll show you then, so you can swing the foot out of the way. So that is very helpful. And then when I take it off the foot holder here, then you'll be able to see some where you make those adjustments. And in the blister pack, it even comes with an extra little screw. Here, your extra little screw, there's even one in the blister pack. So like Janome always thinks of everything. So here is your foot. So again, this, you just push in that little button there, and that swings your foot out of the way. So it definitely helps you get it on and off that way. So I would just hook it like that and screw it in. And as well, if you then wanted to thread your needle, again, this takes it out of the way. But then here on the back are the 2 screws that I talked about, that you can loosen these, and then this whole bar will move closer to the, again, over the feed dogs, or again, move it closer to the needle. But this is where I like to get it positioned over my feed dogs, and then I can use the adjustments of my machine to move my needle closer to the foot. And you want to not too close, maybe about 1/8 of an inch away or so. But yeah, super simple to do there's a little notch. Ooh, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Ooh, there's a little groove right up here in the foot. And again, full instructions, the back of the blister pack. But if you have this foot, people have emailed me before saying, oh, I'm having a hard time using this foot. It's a little sticky. It's not moving so well. There's a little notch right here in the back of the foot that you need to oil. And again, full instructions in the blister pack and in the bulletin, but there you would oil this so it spins freely. And especially the more you use the foot, the more then you need to oil it regularly. Again, it's like any moving part. But the cool thing about, I found in our warehouse, Janome stocks these very cool oilers, sewing machine oil with these big long spouts, so you can really get it in where you need it. I did not realize Janome is a distributor of these. Again, they're in our warehouse, so you can order from your Janome dealer, and that way, again, just a little drop of sewing machine oil in that little groove, and that keeps that wheel spinning around just beautifully. So it's really, really cool. So simple in its engineering, but so effective. It really, really works well. So yes, thank you. So I will spin this back around. I won't keep you any longer because I know I could go on and show you. It is a very interesting foot, Sandra. Yes, totally. And again, really helps. Oh, another tip I wanted to share too. If you find when you're feeding it, with your even feed foot, AccuFeed Flex foot, any of your thicker layers as well, we used to use tissue paper in school. We would lay that down on the bed of our machine so our feed dogs wouldn't mark up our fabric. Particularly, again, with leather and vinyl, anything like that. If you find you've got really thick layers, and again, maybe there's too much pressure, lighten the pressure of your presser foot. But maybe by adding that tissue paper or the paper that you would use for paper piecing that comes off very easily, or this is just tearaway stabilizer, left over from my Madeira stabilizer pack. Maybe that a layer next to your feed dogs will help, again, that there'd be no marking of your fabric, and that would help feed it in a little easier and then rip it off. So yes, so lots of information that you can always go back to the IGTV icon to review this live presentation, or in a day or two it will be loaded up on the Janome HQ YouTube channel, so you can go back to review. So yes, thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope to see you all on Wednesday, August 26th, as we go through the review of Janome's awesome accessory countdown, starting from 1 to 12, and then again a little sneak peek of what we're doing coming up. So have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.